One day, I sold off all the organs in my body, including my heart, both lungs and kidneys, even a pair of vital parts. As long as the parts wouldn't kill me instantly, I was to sell them, because this world, everyone can gain extraordinary abilities through a profession ceremony. But the cost of this ceremony is extremely high. There's no way someone like me, an orphan, could afford it. It just so happened that I awakened a god-tier talent, immortality. Any injuries my body suffered would instantly heal. With this defying ability, in just half a year, I managed to amass wealth that an average person couldn't earn in a lifetime. In the end, I also unlocked the SSS tier, hidden class, forbidden spellcaster. However, but people mocked it as flashy trash with no substance, simply because forbidden spellcasters have to use their life force or parts of their body as energy when casting spells. They need to sacrifice either their lifespan or body parts to channel their power. This makes forbidden spellcasters have an extremely short lifespan, but in front of someone like me, who has an immortal body, this flaw is absolutely nothing to worry about. Right now, in the underground black market of Qingcheng, I skillfully approached a middle-aged man. Boss, sell me a kidney, and sell an eye cornea as well. Speaking, I skillfully down on the filthy operating table. The black market boss gave me a complicated look. Young man, are you sure about this? In the past 6 months, you've already sold a kidney, a spleen, gallbladder, a pair of testicles, a section of a coronary artery, and third of your liver. Sell one more kidney. You won't have many days left to live. Even though this boss has been a parts dealer for so many years, he's never seen someone their own body parts like this before. It's true. Outrageous. I'm certain that saving my critically ill sister makes everything I do worth it. Then flowed down my face. The ruthless boss nodded and said nothing more. He was never the kind of person with good intentions. He reminded me only because he was worried that real trouble might end up involving him. How later, I gritted my teeth and endured the sharp pain in my lower back. Holding the 30,000 yuan given by the exploitative boss, I stumbled my way out. After making sure was following me in the alley. Only then I let out a sigh of relief. Then a thought crossed my mind. The parts that were originally missing, managed to retrieve them all again. Even the cloudy eyes seemed to shine with a golden glow at this moment. Looking at the $30,000 in my hand, I felt a surge of excitement in my heart. Adding this amount to what I already had, it should be enough to cover the cost of the job transfer ceremony. Early the next morning, I headed to the school bright and early to attend the job transfer ceremony. Paying the fee, I quietly moved to the back of the crowd and started waiting in line. To keep the secret of my immortality hidden, I usually keep to myself and don't talk much. Combined with my status as a student from a poor background, I basically no friends at all. Yellen, what are you doing here? The homeroom teacher looked at me standing at the back of the line with surprise. From perspective, as a student from a disadvantaged family, Yellen shouldn't have been here at this moment. Then he said, in a somewhat puzzled tone, "You're not seriously thinking about getting a career change loan, are you?" I silently nodded my head. Since the homeroom teacher had already figured out where the money would come from, I didn't have to go through the trouble explaining it. As I said that, quite a few classmates looked at me with sympathetic eyes. The cost of attending the career change ceremony is ridiculously high. It naturally led to the creation of specialized loans. It wouldn't be so bad if you managed to change into a powerful profession. If you end up with a useless profession after switching jobs, the high interest rates are enough, make you spend the rest of your life working just to repay the debt. Well, keep at it. The homeroom teacher let out a sigh. What's is done. He didn't feel was appropriate to say anything more. In his opinion, students from poor families should honestly take the standard college entrance exam and just lead a simple, ordinary life. Even if the job transition is successful, the resources required afterward are not something an orphan without parents can afford. Would be too much for an orphan to handle. As the job transition ceremony began, everyone's attention gradually shifted away from me. The principal of Qingcheng High School personally presided over the job transition ceremony. As one awakening ceremony after another concluded, the principal's frown deepened little by little. It seemed like this year's students weren't doing too well. There have been over 100 people awakened so far. The highest level is just that leader-level talent from earlier. Combat-type job changers are incredibly rare, but in the very next moment, a fiery phoenix soared into the sky from the job-changing altar. The intense heat wave scorched the hair of the students closest to the altar. Their hair burned quite a bit. It turned out to be an SSS-level profession. The principal's breathing suddenly became rapid. High school. Everyone's attention couldn't help but focus on the altar. All were drawn to the altar. There stood a stunning girl with a curvy figure. A massive fire phoenix was soaring above her head. Zhuge, your combat-type profession. A 3S level fire mage. The principal was overwhelmed with excitement. An SSS fire mage had emerged. Even if no other students awakened their powers, it doesn't matter if it's an F-level life profession. The eyes of many students were filled with envy. Classmate Zhuge, come with me. I need to discuss with you. The principal's old face lit up like a blooming chrysanthemum. Teacher Wang, please help me preside over the job transfer ceremony. Then he turned and left with Zhuge. The remaining students, in his eyes, were all lumped together. Their value couldn't compare to a single Zhuge. The job change ceremony continued. Next up was Yi Li. Hearing this, I quietly stepped out from the crowd. Everyone's eyes once again focused on me, with of amusement and pity. Taking a loan just to change jobs was already bad enough, but to be placed right after someone like Zhuge, a prodigy, made it worse. Isn't this just setting myself up to be a mere background character? Yet the whispers around me, and stepped directly onto the job change altar. I'm curious, too, about what kind of profession I might awaken to. As Miss Wang activated the altar, a strange energy instantly flowed into my body. The next moment, the once bright and clear sky suddenly turned dark. Countless dark clouds gathered densely together, as if the end of the world was approaching. Then raging thunder and heavenly fire swept in like a storm. All kinds of disasters surged out from the clouds. It felt like the apocalypse was upon us. Everyone was frozen in place by this sudden and unexpected change. Stunned, they stood motionless where they were. Once again, the world was filled with strange and unearthly sounds. And this time, it was even more dramatic than what Zhuge Ni experienced. Mr. Wang felt as though his heart might stop beating at that very moment. 2 consecutive SSS-Class professions. Is it the world gone mad? Or he lost his mind? The principal, who was originally about to leave, suddenly paused in his tracks, then rushed over, staring intently at me standing by the job-changing station. Quick, Mr. Wang, check what profession this student has. Mr. Wang finally calmed down from his excitement and started examining my profession. Yilin, a combat profession, an SSS-level forbidden spellcaster. Hearing that Yilin's profession was a forbidden spellcaster, the principal who was initially excited, suddenly had a grim look on his face. It was as if he had been forced to swallow something utterly disgusting. As long as one reaches the SSS rank, any profession can become incredibly powerful. But among SSS ranks, there is one profession everyone despises, and that? The Forbidden Curse Master. It's not that the Forbidden Curse Master is weak. The contrary. The skills used by a Forbidden Curse Master are increasingly terrifying. For a Forbidden Curse Master, challenging someone of a higher level is not a big deal. It's as easy as having a meal or drinking water. However, using skills in this profession is incredibly demanding. You either sacrifice your lifespan or give up parts of your body. Making deals with demons is the only way to cast them. Some devastating skills that can destroy everything. Sometimes it even requires the caster to give up their entire life in order to perform them. This profession is often jokingly referred to as a self-destructing truck. So far, anyone who has transitioned to becoming a forbidden spellcaster has never lived past the age of 25. The principal originally planned to make a significant investment in me, but after learning that I am a forbidden spellcaster, completely gave up the idea. The crowd under the altar, who had been filled with righteous indignation, lit up with smiles. This Yi Lin has completely embarrassed herself. Switching jobs feels like waiting. Unleash a skill. I have admit. This profession seems to suit him quite well. Everyone had a look of schadenfreude. Their gazes were as sharp as swords, piercing straight through my body. Along perfectly. My face turned pale as a sheet. I lowered my head, looking completely dejected. Only the truth. I can't hold back my laughter if I don't lower my head. Casting spells as a forbidden caster costs life energy. What does that have to do with my immortality? I quietly checked my own attribute panel. Class: Forbidden Caster. Talent: Forbidden Spells. Each time the forbidden caster levels up, they unlock a new forbidden spell. Forbidden spell: World Ending Wild Thunder. The forbidden caster sacrifices themselves, summoning world-destroying thunder from the skies above. The more significant the sacrificed body part is, the higher the level of thunder summoned will be. No cooldown and no energy consumption. After reading the skill description, my eyes began to burn with excitement. No wonder forbidden spellcasters are said to be undefeated among their peers. A single strike of chaotic divine thunder can obliterate anyone at the same level. Even if you bring a god, they'd still get struck down. What's more critical is, not only does it have no cooldown, but it also consumes no mana. This essentially means, as long as you enough lives, the divine lightning can endlessly strike on the forbidden spellcaster. Combined with an immortal body, I can hardly imagine how great the future achievements could be. Even though I felt overwhelming joy in my heart, I was fully aware of the situation. It's not the time for me to get carried away. No matter how strong a forbidden spellcaster is, you still need to level up. For now, I have to keep a low profile when necessary. I clenched my fists tightly. My whole body was trembling. I portrayed the image of a genius, rose to fame, but fell just as quickly, showing the unwillingness that one would expect. How I reacted, the principal couldn't help but let out a sigh. There was a hint of regret on his face. Student, try not to get too emotional. As the saying goes, where there's a will, there's a way. The forbidden spellcaster is still an incredibly powerful profession. A flamboyant and explosive bloom is always better than a life of mediocrity. Living a whole life isn't the same. I slowly lifted my head. My voice was unbelievably hoarse. Principal, is it true that forbidden spellcasters can't live past 25? The fool froze for a moment. Then, With a hint of reluctance, he nodded slightly, but shortly after, the principal's eyes lit up again. Even though forbidden spellcasters have short lives, but an SSS level forbidden spellcaster plus an SSS level fire mage, then isn't acing this college entrance exam practically guaranteed? You wouldn't even need Juge to make a move. As long as this guy sacrifices a kidney to cast a forbidden spell, he could easily crush all the other high schools. Thinking about how the college entrance exams would end, and how he would stand on the podium delivering his speech after winning first place, he couldn't help feel a surge of joy. Good kid, you should come along with me too. The principal excitedly led me and Juge to the office. Together we to the office. Yi Lin, student, Juge. I'm sure I already know why I called you here. Proudly. The principal looked at the two of us with an intense gaze. Two of you are the hope for our Qingcheng High School in this year's college entrance exams. So, Novovis secret realm. This is especially important for you. I hope the two of you can both aim to level up to at least level 10. Assured. Tomorrow, I won't arrange to have any opportunities to solo grind with classmates who have support roles, so I hope you don't let me down. As for the principal, I don't have an issue with that. Fifth, asking Yellen, a forbidden spellcaster, to solo a beginner dungeon. She'd probably barely make it out alive after finishing it. How about I team up with Yellen? This way, we can confidently delve deeper into the dungeon. I'll handle the low-level monsters and leave the high-level ones for him to deal with. This should speed up the leveling process. Makes sense. Yellen, what do you think? Principal, I think I'll just solo it. Being on my own, my head awkwardly. If I'm a Juge, I'd feel restricted at every turn, and I'd still have to worry about my immortality. The secret of Juju, your words, a cold light in his eyes. Truly ungrateful for kindness. He initially of helping out for the sake of being schoolmates. After all, switching to the profession of a forbidden spellcaster, known for its short lifespan, unlucky enough. It's bad enough. I never thought I would actually turn him down. Oh well. He'll realize his mistake once he comes out of the secret realm battered and bruised. Seeing this, the principal agreed as well. Then he handed over 2 rings to the both of us. This is my personal full funding to support you too. Do best. Try to reach level 10 or higher. I stared at the attributes of the ring in my hand, lost for a moment. The ring of heaven enhances mental strength, a plain ring without any skill bonuses, but fortunately, it increases mental strength by 10 points. I accepted it, then turned to the principal and expressed my thanks before getting up and leaving the office. By now, the class transfer ceremony had also ended. Some people are happy, while others are upset, and when they saw me, a smile appeared on their faces. No matter what profession they transitioned into, whether their career change was a success or a failure, at least they were still alive, which is far better than turning to a forbidden spellcaster tonight and immediately being doomed to an early death. Human happiness often comes from comparison. Compared to me, they realized life might not be as bad as it seems. When I was about to head home, Juge, you stopped me, striding over to my side with your long legs, standing on the steps, looking down at me from above. I suggest you give it thought. The more ordinary the battles of a forbidden spellcaster become, the faster they meet their end. Harm. We were just classmates. I don't want you to die too soon. Juge's tone was filled with deep pity for your concern. But let's forget about teaming up. Juge glared angrily. He repeated, warned, Yi Lin. Who would have thought? Yi Lin turned a deaf ear to it. It's really hard to give advice to someone who won't listen. Just damned ghost. Let go of the need to help others. Respect other people's lives. Zhu Jinni silently reminded himself in his heart. Decided not to care about my life or death anymore. Well, isn't this our SSS-ranked professional Yi Lin? Suddenly, an amateurish voice abruptly came from behind me. Ji Lingyu appeared with a group of people, standing right in front of me and Zhu Jinni. He is the young master of the Ji family in Qingcheng Group. He usually acts like a king at King High School. He has also been openly pursuing Zhu Ji for a long time. As soon as he walked out, he saw Zhu Jinni chatting with me. A wave of jealousy immediately surged in his heart. He was ready to teach me a lesson. Zhu Jinni, standing nearby, originally intended to drive Ji Lingyu away, but then he thought about my indifferent attitude. He suddenly decided to keep quiet. Letting Ji Lingyu teach in a lesson might not be a bad idea. Maybe this make him change his mind. So, I actually think that a cursor's master can be compared to other SSS-level professions. Seeing Ji Lingyu's icy cold gaze, I was at a loss for words. Women really the root of trouble. I spent 3 years at Qingcheng High without offending anyone. Yet with just 2 sentences from Zhu Jinni, she managed to bring trouble my way. Excuse me, could you move aside? Home now. I don't want to any trouble. Going home. Are you referring to that filthy slum you call home? Ji Lingyu graduated from a technical school. You're considered an SS-level professional now. How you me for help? I can arrange a job at my company for you. Free meals and accommodation. A secure position. If you could do this, you wouldn't have to live in the slums anymore. The lackeys behind Ji Lingyu reacted to his words and immediately joined in with mocking laughter. Yi Ling, you really lucked out big time. You actually managed to join the Ji Corporation as a bodyguard. Hurry up and thank young Master Ji, and maybe bow down a few more times for him. Their ridicule. I clenched my fists tightly, breathing heavily. An ox, looking completely humiliated. Stop pushing. Pull too far. I let a roar. Ji was startled, putting everything else aside. Right now, I genuinely respect my mentor, but after he flashed a smug smile again, casting forbidden spells really takes a toll on a mage's life. Classmate, Yi Lin, I mean well. How be considered bullying you? Ji Lingyu reached out his hand gently. My face hurt much, but the humiliation was immense. This gave Ji Lingyu a deep sense of satisfaction. I narrowed my eyes slightly. Very well. When with someone like Ji Lingyu, with you given, what you'll get in return is even harsher humiliation. If I want to make sure he doesn't dare mess with me again in the future, then I need to let Ji Lingyu understand that I am not helpless little rabbit, but lion ready to fight back. Thinking about this, my eyes instantly turned blood red. Ji Lingyu, you've gone too far. This is the respect you forced out of me. The world thunderstorm. I let out a fierce roar. One hand. Suddenly, dark clouds gathered densely. A torrent of thunderstorm surged toward me. Silvery white lightning darted between the clouds. In the next moment, a massive bolt of thunder as thick as a thigh struck from the clouds, connecting directly with my palm. In that moment, I looked like a god wielding the power of thunder, dazzling beyond words. Countless people around me stared at me in terror. As my raised hand came down, the terrifying thunder struck directly next to Ji Ling. Blessed her away. A massive crater appeared on the ground. Yi Lin, have you completely lost your mind? Ji Lingyu barely brushed past death, was so scared, almost wet his pants. He just wanted to humiliate Yelin a little. Tell Yelin to stay away from Zhuge in the future. This guy was so reckless he didn't even care about his own life. He just took a close-up shot. If Yelin's aim hadn't been slightly off, he would already be lifeless corpse by now. But when faced with Ji Lingyu's questioning, I didn't respond. Instead, I raised my hand again. A surge of violent lightning gathered in my palm once more. Oh my gosh, just look at me again. This time, thunder gathered with full force. Ji Lingyu was completely terrified out of his mind, throwing insults at him, and he would be ready with you. Who wouldn't be scared of someone this crazy? He struggled to get back his feet, but his legs had already turned to jelly from fear. Help, please? He called out underlings for help, but those people were too busy running for their own lives. There was no time to even think about Ji Lingyu. Right at that moment, accompanied a thunderous boom, an even more terrifying bolt of lightning struck down right next to him. Ji Lingyu froze in place, completely stunned. A foul-smelling liquid trickled down his pant leg. The feeling of teetering on the edge between life and death really puts the human sphincter to the ultimate test. But luckily, it seemed like this lightning bolt didn't get the green light. Just as Ji Lingyu was secretly feeling relieved, a voice as chilling as the Reaper's call sounded once more. Ji Lingyu stared ahead in sheer terror. The boy stand there, bathed in purple lightning. An overwhelming fear gripped his throat. At this moment, he regretted everything deeply. Why did I have to provoke this lunatic? If life offered a way to undo mistakes, I'd make sure to disappear the moment I saw him. Staying 800 meters away, a forbidden spellcaster isn't terrifying, but a forbidden spellcaster who doesn't value their life is. This is absolutely the most terrifying existence in the world. Yi Lai, stop right now. Suddenly, an extremely anxious voice rang out. The principal rushed out. He was on fire. He bolted of his office, hearing principal's voice. My eyes flickered for a moment. Only then, withdraw the endless lightning. I certainly wouldn't be foolish enough to kill the Ji family's young master in broad daylight. I wouldn't do something as reckless as killing the Ji family heir in front of everyone. I clenched my fists, looking. I had suffered a great injustice. That complexion, clearly caused by the backlash on the body from repeatedly casting forbidden spells. Don't worry. There's no need for you to explain. I will make sure to give you an explanation for this matter. The principal was absolutely furious. The young master of the Ji family is pursuing Zhu Ni. He had heard a little this matter as well. In the past, Ji Lingyu used to on his classmates. He would turn a blind eye because of his dad, pretending not and letting it slide. But this time, he really went too far. He actually managed to anger a forbidden spellcaster to risk their life, releasing 3 forbidden spells in a row. It shows how badly I was bullied. He still expects me to excel in the college entrance exams and bring glory to Qingcheng High School. If were to happen to me, he was determined to end that arrogant rich kid right then and there. Jingyu, get up right now. The principal shouted angrily. Apologize to classmate Yilin immediately. The principal originally thought, with Ji Lingyu's rebellious and unruly personality, getting him to apologize would be harder than climbing a mountain. But before he could finish his sentence, Ji Lingyu suddenly dropped to his knees in front of me. Brother, no, I was wrong. Ye dad, sorry Zhuge. From now on, it's all yours. I won't compete with you anymore. When it comes one's own life, Ji Lingyu genuinely scared. He's the young master of the G Corporation. The one with shoes fears the barefooted. He definitely didn't want to perish alongside a madman, especially since this madman could actually kill him, apologized so quickly. Even the principal was taken aback for a moment. He started to wonder if this Ji Lingyu was an impostor. Principal, I have accepted his apology. Ji Lingyu, remember this. A man can be killed, but not humiliated. My lips tightly together. My words, firm and resolute. Yes, I truly... my mistake. I won't casually insult others anymore in the future. Ji nodded repeatedly. He is genuinely scared now. I suddenly raised my hand again and gave him an electric shock. I politely greeted Principal, then turned and left. If nothing unexpected happens with what happened today, for a long period of time, there probably be anyone trying to cause trouble for me anymore. After all, the persona I've built up is already established. A lunatic who's always ready to go down with someone else. Who would be enough to mess with a crazed, forbidden spellcaster? Zhuge's expression was extremely complicated. He watched my figure as I walked away and slowly shook his head, not using even a bit of common sense. Getting so humiliated by a few words that you're ready to risk your life for revenge. He's nothing but a reckless brute. Even if someone wasn't a forbidden spellcaster by profession, they would still be destined for a short-lived career. The two of them just happened to awaken their SSS level classes on the same day, and it occurred at the same school, no less. In the end, I am just not from the same world as him. I pushed the door to my home and returned to the small house in the slums. This place is the most undeveloped area in the city, where flows everywhere, a mix of good and bad. But it also became the perfect hiding spot for someone like me with an immortal body, the place to stay hidden. Sacrificing a section of the duodenum can summon an ordinary thunderbolt. Offering up a bladder can summon the yin thunder of Kui water. Sacrificing a heart can call forth the life and death subduing thunder. I quietly calculated the different levels of thunder and organs needed for the sacrifices. This was all something I had learned from Ji Lingyu. The data collected from the experiment. To avoid drawing any suspicion, I sacrificed only internal organs. Based calculation. If I want to summon the most powerful chaos thunder, it seems I would need to sacrifice my entire self. No, this thing is considered forbidden magic. Thinking this, I couldn't help but smile bitterly. Only someone like me, with an immortal body, would dare to do this. If an ordinary person were to cast this forbidden spell, they wouldn't be able to perform it a few times before becoming paralyzed. But I am incredibly satisfied with the power of this forbidden spell. Don't be fooled by the fact that I'm only at level 1 right now. If I were to unleash the world-ending thunder with full force, I bet no one below level 5 would be able to survive it. Not a single one would out alive. Single thought. The sacrificed organ once again, and my complexion returned to a healthy glow. Then collapsed into sleep, calm and still, like a lifeless body. Inside a luxurious mansion, Ji Lingyu roared furiously, his face twisted in anger. Dad, you have to help me get revenge. You absolutely have to take that guy down. That guy humiliated me in front of the whole school. I even had to bow and admit my mistake to him. I can't this humiliation. In the afternoon, his apology better be completely sincere. But now, wanting to get rid of Yi Lin, it must be completely genuine. The Ji family group, under its name, has a number of powerful professionals. Taking out Yi Lin, who's only level 1, can be done effortlessly. Ji's father puffed on a cigar, listening Ji Lingyu's complaints. Lingyu, you're my only son. I've taught countless times since you were young. Business people shouldn't act on impulse. You need to learn to the pros and cons. Let me ask you this. If I send someone to kill him, what benefits can we gain from it? Ji Lingyu was momentarily stunned. If we Yi Ling, it seems like there's really no real benefit. It would help vent some anger. Ji Fu flicked the ash of his cigar onto the table. But if we fail, we're about to completely offend an SS-level forbidden spellcaster. Once he grows stronger, before he dies, he could drag us down to hell with him. That wouldn't be an issue. So killing someone like Yi Lin just to vent anger, this is entirely a highly risky and completely unrewarding thing to do. The people conflicts before were just ordinary folks. Killing them was not a big deal, but this time it won't work. Do you? And Ji Lingyu nodded obediently. He also realized the pros and cons of this situation. Then from now on, I'll make sure to avoid that. Yi Lin, the stepfather, shook his head. A glint of sharpness flashed in his eyes. Not only should you not stay away from that Yi Lin, on the contrary, you should stick close to him. Follows his lead. A few insults are enough to make him cast a forbidden spell. Someone like him clearly doesn't think things through, and he's overly concerned about saving face. The heir of the G Corporation is acting as his lackey. That's quite the respect he's getting. A real man knows when to bend and when to stand tall. You just need to play your role as Yi Lin's sidekick, as your shield. All it costs is a little bit of pride that doesn't really matter. You can get an SSS bodyguard for free. Why not take advantage of that? People only talk about the purification chant. No one has ever dared to say that purification chant masters are weak. Ji Lingyu's eyes grew brighter the more he listened. It almost felt like a sudden of enlightenment. Early the next morning, when I showed up at the school gate, quite a few students looked at me and quickly stepped away from me in fear. Apparently, word got out about my crazy behavior yesterday. I'm happy to enjoy some peace and quiet. The less interact with others, the secret immortality, I can keep it hidden while calmly waiting for the school to take us to beginner's dungeon. Someone suddenly called out to me from behind. I turned my head, realized the person running toward me was Ji Lingyu. A trace of cold sharpness flickered in my eyes. Could it be that this spoiled brat wasn't satisfied with yesterday's lesson? Brother Yi, you haven't had breakfast yet, have you? Breakfast. Ji Lingyu handed it over, as if presenting a treasure. He offered a sandwich and a bottle of fresh milk. Why, you beat me, planning to poison me. He looked at Ji Lingyu with suspicion. I really can't figure it out. What's this guy up to? No way, I really didn't poison anything. Ji Lingyu tried to prove his innocence. He quickly broke off a piece of the sandwich and stuffed it in his mouth. Then he opened the milk and poured a bit into his mouth. So do you believe me now? I didn't poison it. I took the sandwich and gave it a look. It really didn't seem like it was poisoned, but couldn't figure out why. Could it be that this guy is a masochist? After putting myself through a tough time yesterday, I ended up getting hooked on it. But hey, if breakfast is delivered to me, there's no reason not to enjoy it. After all, I'm so broke that I had to sell a kidney just to scrape by before switching jobs. So of course, I wouldn't pass up a chance like this to get something for free. Seeing me accept the breakfast I brought for myself, Ji Lingyu showed a barely noticeable cold smirk. What my father said turned out to be true. This Yi Lin really doesn't have much sense. Looks like I should flatter him a bit more. It won't be long before I have a free 3S level fighter on my side. A free 3S class professional fighter will soon be mine. I swallowed sandwich in my mouth, looking at this spoiled rich kid in front of me. Just get straight to the point and say what you want. I want to acknowledge you as my big brother. Hearing Jilingyu's words, I froze for a moment. Could this guy really be kind of masochist? Yesterday, I acted crazy to make others stay away from me. In the end, a little guy came out acting crazy. After you gave me yesterday, I took some time to reflect deeply. I seriously evaluated myself. I want to improve and become a better version of myself. To achieve that, I need to find a good role model to learn from. If that's the case, since it's about learning, then it would make sense to pay some tuition, wouldn't it? My mom responded while stroking her chin. Of course, it makes perfect sense. Hey man, what's your account number? Ji Lingyu pulled out his phone right from his back pocket, took his phone, and got ready to transfer. Send 20 million to this account number first. I quickly recited the account number. What I said, Ji Lingyu was completely stunned. The heck? Did you just casually ask for 20 million? No matter how wealthy the G Corporation is, they shouldn't waste money like this. If you don't have money, then forget about it. I looked at Ji Lingyu with a peculiar expression. I scanned Ji Lingyu from head to toe. Ji Lingyu's face immediately turned bright red. In his eyes, being seen as a broke guy was harder to accept than being scared by me. It was even worse for him than being scared to the point of wetting himself for me. I'll ask my dad transfer the money. Ji Lingyu was furious. He walked to the side to make a phone call. After sending Ji Lingyu away, I got on the bus heading to the beginner's secret realm. The bus soon arrived at the entrance of the beginner's secret realm. At the moment, several long lines had already formed at the entrance. Those were people transferring from other schools in Qingcheng. The entire Jingcheng High School only has secret realm suitable for beginners. The college entrance exam is right around the corner. Naturally, it's packed with people. Zhuji and I, both with SSS level professions, were placed at the very front of Qingcheng High School's lineup. Zhuji Ni had a calm and cold expression, looking straight ahead without glancing to the side. It was obvious he didn't want to acknowledge me. I was perfectly happy to be left alone. From a distance, the principal of Qingcheng High School had an old face full of wrinkles, everyone smiling as brightly as blooming chrysanthemums. He had his arm around a few other high school principals, stopping them from leaving and casual bragging, saying I already told them to keep profile. Just changing to an SS level profession would be enough. And yet these kids are something else. The moment they switch professions, they end up with two. Isn't that just infuriating? The other high school principals, his face was as dark as the bottom of a pot. While a few principals were busy arguing, the line kept moving without stopping. It didn't take long for Qingcheng High School's team to reach their turn to enter. Zhuge, a cold glance. Time to team up with me. Even though he had clearly decided not to get involved with me, his deep down still made him unable to resist asking another question. No need, thanks. I stepped past Zhu Jini, who was blocking my way. I took a big step forward into the secret realm, arrogant and self-important. Since you are so eager to meet your end, then can stop you. Zhu shook his head. Clearly, I was beyond saving. A flash, white light, blurred for a moment. When I regained clarity, I found myself in a dense forest. I stretched lazily. Then, I started my journey of defeating monsters. I had just walked a short distance when I came across something that looked like a cat, a round and chubby, adorable creature with pink, fluffy fur. It was like moving stuffed toy. But I'd fooled by this thing. This little guy only looked cute. It was actually a real monster. Can listlessly bite an adult's throat. The pink panther cat on the ground, while a purring sound, trying to lure me to approach him first, and my response was straightforward. Forbidden spell. World thunderstorm. Moment. A surge of wild lightning shot out from my hands. The pink panther cat let out a sharp meow. Freaked. Instant. But facing me, with spells that are all forbidden curses, he didn't even have a chance to escape. Was struck by lightning and turned into charcoal on the spot. Defeating a level 1 pink panther grants 10 experience points. Does a level 1 monster only give 10 experience points? That means I have to defeat 100 of them to level up. This way too slow. Since all my skills, forbidden curses anyway, might as well straight into the deeper areas. I paused to think for a moment, then ventured deeper into the woods. During the following moments, this forest teeming with magical creatures experienced a thunderous cleansing. I swept through in my path. No matter what kind of magical creature I encountered, my response was always the same, unleashing a forbidden spell with every strike, hurling it at them, focusing on the concept of equality for all, while continuously casting spells. My mastery of the thunder spell has become increasingly proficient. I can even release it instantly, without any casting delay. With this almost absurdly high efficiency in farming monsters, I quickly up to level 2. Keep in mind, I had just entered the beginner's secret realm, and it had only about an hour, on average, leveling up once per hour. This kind of leveling speed, if word gets out, it might leave countless people stunned. Right now, I'm leaning against a large tree, taking a break while studying the newly acquired skill. Name: Yi-Lin class. Forbidden Spellcaster. Level 2, Strength 20, Agility 30, Spirit 60. New skill: Forbidden Spell. Burning Reincarnation. Forbidden spells consume one's life force. Significant. Boosting strength, agility, and spirit, the 3 major attributes. Be aware that the Burning Reincarnation skill consumes a significant amount of vitality, and once vitality is consumed, it cannot be restored. Use skill with great caution. I glanced at the skill description and immediately shout out awe and respect. Burning Reincarnation. Moment, I saw crimson flames enveloping my entire body. This was because my vitality was being continuously burned away, along with flowing through my body. Everything was vaporized into a mist of blood. At the same time, all my 3-dimensional attributes were doubled. My mental strength even surged directly to 120 points. Terrifying statistics. Such an incredible power. When the Burning Reincarnation state is activated, even a level 10 monster showing up would find it hard to withstand the full force of my world-destroying thunderstorm. At that moment, I was completely caught up in excitement. I didn't notice even the slightest thing. My hair was turning white at an alarming speed. In just short minutes, from being a teenager to an old man with a head full of white hair, I looked at my hands, which had become as dry as tree bark, and heart tightened. Could I really age this much in just 5 minutes? If you don't want to reveal yourself, the forbidden spell, called Burning Reincarnation, can only be activated for about a minute before it must stop. I didn't turn off the Burning Reincarnation. Instead, I let my life force continue to burn. Then something bizarre happened. My aged and frail self started to reverse in age, transforming back from an elderly appearance to a youthful one. With my immortal body, I already possess limited life force. The side effects of the skill, burning reincarnation. To me, it's hardly worth mentioning. The flaws of immortality, quite obvious. The drawbacks, being a forbidden spellcaster, are even more apparent. But these two are combined, the entire world will understand the meaning of true terror. In the next moment, I activated Burning Reincarnation without hesitation, charging straight into the depths of the forest. With my personal mental strength of 120 points, and the Apocalypse Ring given to me by the headmaster, the mental strength directly reached a staggering 130 points. Even summoning the most basic heavenly thunder, the power is absolutely overwhelming. Right now I am fully confident in clearing this beginner dungeon with ease. Soon, the forest that had just fallen silent began to erupt once again with flashes of lightning filling the sky. As I ventured and deeper, the monsters appearing before me grew increasingly stronger. Even the weakest were at least level 5 monsters. These powerful monsters seem as fragile as paper in front of me. A bolt lightning strikes down. No matter what level monster you are, you all end up turned into charcoal. Over time, my body carries a faint scent of roasted meat. That's the smell of monsters cooked by the intense heat of the lightning. Forbidden spell, scorching flames of heaven. I roared furiously. A flame with a purple base and a red tip appeared from my hand. It emerged from my hand effortlessly. When it burned, it resembled a mystical lotus coming to life. Afterward, this flame landed on a pile of dry wood, and we set it ablaze, using a forbidden spell just to start a fire. If else saw this scene, they would probably be so shocked their eyes would pop out. After an entire day of slaughter, my level has now been raised to level 3, and after level 3, the forbidden spell I unlocked is this Inferno Scorches the Sky. This skill is just like the world-destroying thunder. As long as you sacrifice yourself, you can summon endless flames from the depths of the underworld. The further progress, the harder it becomes to level up, reaching level 3 in a single day. I am already extremely satisfied. Right now, it's likely that most people haven't even reached level 2 yet. Of progress. Before the beginner's secret realm closes, reaching level 10 should be no trouble at all for me. With just skill, I dragged over a dead, 3-eyed demon pig. After skinning it and taking the meat, I placed it over the burning campfire to roast. The fatty and lean hind leg sizzled under the intense flames. Soon, oil started to bubble up from it. It really makes my appetite go wild. Even though I am immortal, won't starve to death. Feeling hungry is still pretty unpleasant. Of course, I wouldn't mistreat my own stomach. Blazing flames naturally burn hotter than ordinary fire, making it incredibly efficient for roasting things. In no time, the entire pork leg was roasted to perfection, with a crispy exterior and tender inside. The rich filled the air. For a moment, I was so moved that my eyes welled up with tears. Used to live in the slums, poor, and had to keep the secret, being immortal, hidden. Never had a chance to eat such good food before. Luckily, I am now a job changer, waiting to grow strong enough to protect myself, so I won't live a life of hiding anymore. While I was devouring the meat, not far away, Juge suddenly froze in place, looking in my direction with a puzzled and uncertain expression. He was originally a fire mage. He has an exceptional sensitivity to fire elements. The moment I unleashed the inferno, he immediately sensed my presence. In the capital city, other than me, there clearly isn't a second person with a 3S level fire element related profession. How could there be such an intense fire element fluctuation? Could it be some kind of fire related treasure has appeared? Juge's beautiful eyes showed a hint of curiosity. Then she headed in the direction where I was. After eating and drinking to my heart's content, I used water to put out the campfire. Then I continued my journey of defeating monsters. The mountain on fire. Serving time behind bars forever. For someone like me, has traveled through time. This belief is deeply engraved in my heart. By the time arrives, I will already be long gone, leaving behind only a pile of smoldering campfire ashes. Turns out, it was humans who caused the commotion. The fluctuation of this fire element might be just as strong as mine. He reached down, picked up a piece of unburned firewood, and brought it to his nose to sniff. But in the next moment, his handsome brows furrowed tightly together. It was indeed the aura of the legendary karmic fire. But why was there also a strange stench mixed in? Zhuge, completely puzzled, yet dwell on it further. Instead, he got to his feet, her beautiful eyes with excitement. It seems this place is truly full of hidden talents. Compared to someone as stubborn and foolish as Yi Lin, people who are both capable and know how to keep a low profile are obviously far more intriguing to someone like Zhuge. He then quickly scanned his surroundings before swiftly heading in the direction I had gone. At that moment, I was recklessly charging through the depths of the forest, leaving a trail of destruction behind me. Much like a swarm of locusts, I cleared out every monster I could see. Before I knew it, it was already late at night. My level was about to reach 4. Just as I was about to continue searching for monsters, there was suddenly some commotion behind me. I narrowed my eyes slightly. Then I immediately stopped burning reincarnation. The blood on my body vanished in an instant. I was very aware of the movements of monsters. It was obvious the ones behind me were humans. Before I even saw the person, I noticed the legs first. The first thing that caught my attention was a long, slender, and fair leg. Then came Zhuge's cold and indifferent face. Even, I have to admit, this woman might be a bit stubborn, but her figure and looks are undeniably stunning. Yi Lin, why is it you? The moment she saw me, Zhuge sniffed deeply. His good vanished in an instant. What he was looking for was the one who controlled the night fire, Wu Mingxian. It definitely wasn't this arrogant fool, but he quickly figured out behind it. It's likely that after Yi Lin entered the beginner's secret realm, she realized how hard it is for a forbidden spellcaster to solo. Regretting it, she probably wanted to find him for support. I told you long time ago, the forbidden spellcaster class is incredibly strong, but it's absolutely not suitable for solo play. Already too late for you to regret now. Clinging won't do any good. I don't have time to team up with you right now. Step aside. I have other things to do. Zhuge's pretty face. No trace of warmth. If Yelin could hold on until the end, he would actually think Yelin was a true warrior. This behavior now will only make him lose respect for himself. He had been given so many chances before, but he didn't appreciate them. Now there's trouble. You're coming back. Cling on to me again. Hearing what Zhu Benny said, I was completely stunned. Clearly he chased after out of nowhere. But now it's turned into me being clingy. Feel free to leave. I won't see you off. I stepped aside to let the way clear. Not wanting to argue with Zhuge, I just want to live my life peacefully. There's a simple trick to living a happy life. Just avoid arguing or trying to reason with fools. I have always kept this rule in mind. Zhuge glanced at me. I asked, anyone passing through here? That person, incredibly strong, and is very skilled at using fire elements. There's a high chance they've mastered hellfire. I noticed the hint of anticipation in Zhuge's eyes. I couldn't help for I smile. Finally, I understood. Why did this lady come looking for me? She headed this direction. I quickly pointed a random direction for Juji, hoping to get her to leave. I really don't want to be tangled up this foolish woman. Thanks to seeing that I truly wasn't bothering her, Juji's impression of Yilin improved a bit. As she was walking through the woods, suddenly 2 more moons appeared in the sky. A total of 3 moons in the sky. It looked unbelievably eerie. In the very next moment, Juji's beautiful face suddenly turned hard as a sheet. There were no 3 moons at all. The 2 moons were actually the glaring eyes of a gigantic beast, accompanied by a terrifying roar from the beast. A massive claw swung fiercely toward the spot where Juji was standing. Juji quickly dodged to the side, creating some distance from the beast. Only then did I see the full appearance of the beast. It turned out to be an 8th-level magical creature, the Dragonblood Behemoth. This isn't even the core area of the forest. How could an 8th-level magical creature in a place like this? Juji turned his head and shouted furiously in my direction. You and I should join forces to drive this beast away. But when he turned around, there was no trace of me anywhere. Coward. Juji clenched your in anger. The impression I just started to change about you plummeted to rock bottom in an instant. It's obvious, without even thinking. I must have been scared out of my mind the moment the Dragonblood beast appeared, and ran off as fast as I could. The Dragonblood beast lunged at Juji again. Its massive body was like a towering mountain, giving people an overwhelming sense of fear. The secret technique explosive fire phoenix. Juji dared let his guard down. Immediately unleashed his skill. Several blazing fireballs formed around him, then hurled them towards the dragon-blooded beast. The moment the fireballs hit the beast, they exploded and burst apart, scorching several patches on its body. But this level of injury was far from enough to rob the dragon-blooded beast of its fighting ability. Instead, it completely enraged this level 8 magical beast. Those eyes, as radiant as the moon, suddenly turned a deep blood red. Once again, a palm strike was aimed at the flames ahead. Beauty Juji dodged that strike, then immediately unleashed a skill, blasting towards the giant beast. This time, the dragon blood beast didn't just sit there waiting. It opened its massive blood-red maw and let out a roar resembling a dragon's cry. The terrifying sound waves seemed to solidify into a physical force. The phoenix fire unleashed by Juji was completely stopped midair. All of it intercepted and held in midair, then was directly sent flying back. Juji was utterly shocked. There was no time left for him to dodge. The fireball cast him squarely. It landed directly on him with full force. His were scorched, revealing large patches of pale skin. He was almost barely clothed. He stared in horror at the massive beast. In this place, there was no one who could save him. It was only the first day of starting the beginner's hardship. This level 8 Dragonblood giant was an invincible to anyone. Watching the enormous claws getting closer and closer to him, Juji had completely lost all hope. Expected that he, a dignified SSS-Class job changer, unexpectedly, he ended up dying in frustration at the hands of an 8th-level magical beast. But after his eyes, his imagination, the excruciating pain of being gripped by the dragon-blooded behemoth did not, as expected. Instead, from beside him, he heard a man's deep and magnetic voice. Forbidden spell. Blazing inferno. Juji felt a terrifying wave of heat sling past him. The moment he opened his eyes, he witnessed a scene that would stay with him for the rest of his life. He saw the once arrogant, dragon-blooded beast, its entire body engulfed in flames of red and purple. It didn't even have to let out a scream before it was reduced to a pile of ash. This level 8 magical creature was instantly destroyed. Zhuge looked at the standing before him, the man whose entire body was surrounded by crimson flames, and her beautiful eyes couldn't help but show a hint of fascination. Which young girl doesn't dream of love? Which young girl doesn't hope for someone to come to her rescue in times of danger? A boy riding on colorful clouds steps forward heroically, saving her from a dire situation. This is a stark contrast to what I just did. Turning around and running away like total coward. It created this comparison. Thanks to this classmate for saving my life. May I ask for your name? Zhuge. You walk up to him. The voice turned incredibly gentle. It gave me goosebumps all over. Zhuge wasn't speaking. He stepped forward again, trying to get a better look at the person who could take down a level 8 monster in one strike. The man who constantly occupied his thoughts and dreams, but disappointment. My face covered with black cloth, leaving my eyes visible. I thought about it for a moment. Introduced himself as Ling Yi. Ling, as in dawn. Yi, as in night. Zhu Ni quietly repeated the name. Her beautiful sparkled with fascination. For the first time in his life, he felt an intense curiosity toward of the opposite gender. Lin, my classmate. Which are you from? Once the mission is over, I'll definitely reward you generously. Unfortunately, I have no intention of responding to him. I waved my hand and headed deeper into the forest. No, to thank me. It was just a small favor. Lin, wait a moment. Zhuge Ni lifted his leg, trying to follow, but at that moment, I stopped in my tracks. I spoke coldly, telling him not to follow. Ahead lies a powerful beast, far beyond your current capabilities, a place far exceeding what your strength can handle. There are still areas beyond your reach. I suggest you put your clothes first. Zhuge looked down, and only then did he realize that most of his clothes had been burned away by the flames, exposing large patches of fair skin. He let out a startled cry, his face instantly bright red with embarrassment, quickly covered cloth crowd down. At moment, I had already disappeared into the darkness ahead. Lin, just you wait, I'll definitely catch up with you. Zhuge Ni's beautiful eyes were filled with a fierce determination. At the same time, in his heart, he couldn't help but feel a sense of defeat. He always considered himself to be a proud daughter of the heavens, but when it comes to strength, he couldn't even defeat a dragon-did beast. With one move, he was instantly taken down by Lin Ye. Speaking of appearance and figure, his clothes were burned off to such an extent, yet that Lin Ye didn't even spare him another glance, as if he had absolutely no charm whatsoever. Zhuge Ni was extremely confident in her looks and figure. All along, there have always been guys around her expressing their admiration for her, but she always turned them down coldly. Yet this was the first time she took the initiative, only to be met indifference. This was something she found incredibly hard to accept. On the other hand, I felt a sense of relief. I let go of the mask I had been wearing. Looking in the direction she came from, a faint smile appeared on my face, putting on such a show that woman's attention must have been entirely drawn to that fictional character, Lin Ye. While someone like me, a coward who ran away at the last minute, if Zhuge sees me again, she'll probably turn around and leave immediately, which then happy to see happen. I never really wanted to get too involved with Zhuge Ni in the first place. As for why I helped her in the first place, it's because she's also an SSS-Class professional. If such a genius were to die in the beginner's secret realm, it would definitely alarm the official authorities of Qingcheng. They would investigate everyone within the secret realm thoroughly. By that time, if they somehow uncover my immortality, it would cause a huge problem. After killing the dragon-blooded beast, my level also level 4. Right after that, I eagerly opened the attribute panel, looking at the newly acquired forbidden spell. The forbidden spell of immortality and indestructibility. The forbidden spellcaster sacrifices 2.5 years of their lifespan, grants immunity from one fatal blow. Casting the spell requires no energy and has no cooldown. After the skill description, my face is pale instantly. This spell is completely useless to me. I possess an immortality without any side effects. Give me one more. This thing. Isn't this just a completely useless skill? But very next moment, my dark eyes slowly started to shine. An audacious idea came to my mind. Although it's immortal and indestructible, the actual effect of this curse is almost negligible. But it can serve as a really effective cover. For example, during a fight, if someone suddenly stabbed my heart with a knife, my head was chopped off, but still didn't die. In case, the secret of my immortality would be exposed, but with the curse of being undying and eternal in place. Even though I suffered a fatal attack, nothing happened to me. It gave a reasonable explanation. In the blink of an eye, 7 days passed. Today will be the last day of the novice dungeon. Each person can only enter the novice dungeon once. You can only stay in the beginner's secret realm for 7 days. As soon as the 7 are up, the secret realm will eject everyone inside. Principals from various high schools and teachers had already gathered early at the entrance of the secret realm. Some parents also came here, waiting for their children to come out of the secret realm. Good morning to all my old buddies. It's been a while since we last met. You all so much. Before seeing the person, you could already hear their voice. The principal of Qingcheng High School hadn't even arrived yet, but their excited voice was already echoing from afar. The moment the other high school principals heard this voice, their faces instantly turned as dark as the bottom of a pot. Over the past few days, this old guy would often find any excuse to drag them out for meals or tea, and then has sat down just off to them. High school had 2 students with SSS-level professions. They've heard about it so much their ears are practically worn out. Now they get completely annoyed. This guy, old Gao, aren't you being a bit much? Stay away, we aren't close. The principal of a high school couldn't help but shout angrily. Principal Gao acted like he didn't hear a thing, and still walked over with a cheerful smile. Oh wow. How did you guys find out? Back at high school, there was an incident with 2 SS-ranked professions. So what if there are 2 SSS-ranked class holders? Don't forget, sometimes level matters more than class rank. When the level difference is over 3, even a lower class holder can still have a chance to defeat an SSS-ranked one. A school principal commented sorely. This statement immediately resonated with everyone. People quick chimed in agreement. If you only the professional level, wouldn't those with other levels feel utterly defeated? Over the years, there have been SSS-level professionals. When leaving the novice dungeon, they were pressed by professionals of other levels. That's right. My record for the highest level, reaching level 11, it was by an S-level professional, and remains unbroken to this day. Principal Su, I remember that student. Is your Yukai High School, right? The principals all turned their attention to Principal Su, whose expression was stern. That's right. Is certainly important, but hard work afterward is just as essential. That child is now a level 65 advanced professional. The principals, hearing this, nodded in agreement with evident approval, while a hint of envy flickered in their eyes. A level 65 job changer. That's already someone who can make waves and dominate. In Qingcheng, the number of people who could defeat wouldn't exceed a handful. Being able nurture such a student would truly make one feel they could pass away without regrets. It's hard to say if this year's record will be broken. That moment, a figure silently appeared beside several principals. The principals truly have such refined interests. I wonder if I could join in on the fun as well. A sudden voice broke out of nowhere, startling the principals and catching them off guard. Han had actually appeared right beside them without making a sound. Unbelievable. The was wearing a trench coat and had on a pair gold-rimmed glasses. Every gesture and movement radiated an air of sophistication. After seeing who it was, the principals quickly stood up, their eyes filled with respect. It turned out, Mr. Zhuge, please have a seat. The capital is a small place. There aren't many prominent figures, but Zhuge Qiangxing is definitely an exception. His profession is of an SSS-level astrologer. By observing the stars, he can understand the affairs of the world. It's said that if he uses his power, he can even predict major events that will happen 100 years from now, that are bound to occur in the future. Many influential figures have traveled long distances to come to Qingcheng just to ask him for a fortune reading. The principals have been overly polite. I'm just here, my little ninny. Zhuge Qiangxing smiled warmly. That silly girl, Principal Gao, hasn't caused you any trouble, right? No, not at all. She, the pride of our Qingcheng High School. At that moment, a sudden burst of blue light erupted from the secret realm's exit. This indicates that someone has left the secret realm. Wait a second. According to the timing, they shouldn't be out until noon. Why would someone appear now? Could it be they got injured? Every year, there are students who withdraw early due to injuries, and there are also some fools who overestimate their abilities. Taking on monsters that are way above your level often ends up with people meeting their end in the jaws of those creatures. This kind of is nothing unusual. The blue glow gradually dimmed. Then Zhu Ni appeared, calm and composed as he stepped out of the portal. His face was glowing with health. There wasn't the slightest sign of injury on him. When Zhuge Qiangxing saw him, Zhu Ni was overjoyed. She immediately threw herself into his arms. Zhuge Qiangxing asked dingly about the time. Isn't not time yet. Why did you come out so quickly? It was too boring inside. So, decided to come out early. As soon as Zhu said this, everyone instantly stunned. The beginner's realm is a place each person can only enter once in their lifetime. There are a lot of strange encounters in this place. It's really quick to level up when your strength is low. In the end, this guy actually came out early because he was too bored, so he decided it out ahead of time. What level are you now? Zhuge, sly smile. You took the initiative to reveal your level. Zhuge, you're at SSS level. A level? Fire mage. The principals all gasped in shock. His eyes were filled with shock. This girl, ahead of time, she even the highest record. This is unbelievable. Seeing everyone's shocked expressions, Principal burst into laughter. Well done. Great job, student Zhuge. But when he noticed Zhuge Qiangxing's emotionless face, he immediately shut his mouth wisely. Ninny, if you had come out on time, You might even have a chance to reach level 13. Why did you come out so early? Did you say? Too boring in there. Zhuge. A bit uneasy. Of course, wouldn't tell everyone. He came out early to block that guy. Lin Lei. That guy could take down the dragon blood beast in one hit. His level not be low, even though his is covered that time. But as I see him again, Zhuge, confident you can recognize him. At this moment, I am still venturing deeper into the forest. After grinding for 7 days, my level impressively reached 15. The number of forbidden spells I've used has also shockingly reached 15. For me, there's no difference between any magical creatures. Anyway, running into them just means striking them with lightning. It's just a pity that the further I go, the more experience points required to level up, the harder it to level up. By the 7th day, not even 1 level was gained, and I have this vague feeling that the monsters in this beginner's dungeon seem to be avoiding me because, for the past 2.5 hours, I haven't encountered a single monster. Could it be that I've been too ruthless these past few days? Are those beasts really hiding from me? But you have to be able to dodge first. Forbidden spell, Burning Reincarnation. Forbidden spell, Instant Dance. I cast 2 forbidden spells in a row. Burning Reincarnation. It significantly boosts my 3-dimensional attributes, and the purpose of Instant Dance is very singular. It sacrifices one's own organs to gain agility. The more vital the sacrificed organ, the higher the agility. In return, it can provide up to 10 times additional agility, less for an hour. It's clear this is a life or death survival skill, but Immortal Hands, of instance, has turned into an ordinary speed boost skill. I didn't hesitate for a second and sacrificed my mind without a second thought in exchange for an incredible 10 times agility boost. After reaching 15, my base agility stat is already at 225 points. With the addition of Burning Reincarnation and Fleeting Dance, the boost from these 2 forbidden spells, my agility instantly soared to an astonishing 2,475 points. Even many high-level assassin-type classes would find it impossible to have such a terrifying agility stat. A slight smile appeared on my face. With a light of my foot, it looked as though I performed a spatial leap. In the blink of an eye, my figure appeared a kilometer away. As the number of forbidden spells increased, my combat skills and ability to adapt quickly underwent a dramatic transformation. After teleporting 100 meters away, I finally noticed something was off. The scene before me left utterly stunned. I saw 3 storm mantises hovering in midair, and each of them was holding a 3-eyed demon spider. Instantly understood what was going on. Storm mantises with incredibly fast flying speeds. However, their eyesight is extremely poor. The 3-eyed spider moves at a slow pace, but their third eye see incredibly far. It can even detect the movements of prey kilometers away. The storm mantis carries the 3-eyed spider while flying. This forms most basic surveillance system. No wonder 1.5 hours straight without encountering any monsters at all. Turns out this thing is keeping an eye on me and other monsters. My expression is peculiar. I couldn't help but marvel. Of nature, low-level monsters' intelligence, there's basically no chance of them working together. But under the pressure of this life and death situation, even low-level monsters managed to learn how to cooperate. It's truly something that makes you sigh in amazement. Seeing they were the kind-hearted me, decided to reward them with a chance to hear the Third Thunder Concerto, admiring the destructive thunder of the apocalypse. moment, a massive thunderbolt, about 100 feet wide, came crashing down from the sky, taking out both the three-headed storm mantis and the three-eyed demon spider, sending them both straight to the afterlife. With surveillance left, my monster hunt journey quickly returned to normal. Another massacre began once more. Outside the beginner's secret realm, students were constantly being teleported out. Spent 7 days and nights in the beginner's secret realm. Many students had faces full of exhaustion. Their expressions were overwhelmingly tired. A lot of them tattered clothes, looking almost homeless wanderers, yet everyone's eyes incredibly bright. This first-hand experience of battling monsters is something no amount of storytelling can make you truly understand. Only by experiencing it yourself can you realize how amazing it is to become a class changer. The teacher walked forward. A notebook started counting the number of people, recorded the grade of every student. Zhuge Ni widened her beautiful eyes, careful, observing every boy out of the novice secret realm. He had just asked all the principals about it. They had never even heard of Yi Ling. This left him feeling very puzzled, considering Yi Ling's incredibly extraordinary talent. How could it possibly be someone insignificant? Feel helpless in the situation. He had no choice but to rely on his own eyes to search, looking for Zhuge Ni with firm belief. As long as Ling shows up, he is confident he will be able to recognize her. But as time ticked by, most of the students in the novice secret realm had already come out. Some had even finished registering their levels, was picked up the parents and taken home. However, Zhuge Ni still didn't see the familiar figure. This made his heart grow increasingly restless. Could it be that Yi Lin in the dungeon? Suddenly, from the distant white glow, a figure extremely familiar with appeared. His breathing instantly became rapid, but the white light faded away, and saw clearly who had come. Zhuge Ni's expression turned cold in an instant. How could it be you, Yi Lin? Recalling Yi Lin's behavior that day when she abandoned him and fled alone, he felt tense aversion. If Yi Lin hadn't left him behind, he wouldn't have been forced into a desperate situation by the dragon-blooded beast. This Lin is truly not even comparable to a single finger of that man, yet somehow the two have very similar builds. Think about this, Zhuge. The way you look at me now seems to carry a of disgust. Has come. I came out right away. Is there wrong? I never even glanced at that silly woman. You truly me feel sick. Zhuge, you look down at me with contempt from above. That in your eyes, it feels as if you're looking at something unbearably filthy. I'm not about to argue with this woman if she's unwell. I just wanted to turn around and leave. But unexpectedly, Principal Gao also walked over. Lin, you're finally out. What level are you at? Seeing this, I didn't say much. I directly showed my level information. Yi Lin, profession, 3S level. Forbidden Spellcaster, level 16. What? Level 16? The principal's unbelievable scream echoed all around. Instant. Everyone's were fixed on me. In just 7 days, I leveled up to 16. This is completely shocking. Ling's speed. Even across the entire world, very few people can compare. The principal started counting on their fingers. This level, you would need to kill 172 level 10 monsters every day. How did you to do that? Upon hearing Principal Gao's words, everyone were at a loss for words. Compared to Zhuge Ni's experience, they couldn't find the words to describe me. Zhuge Clanks looked at me. Her eyes sparkled like stars. She revealed a subtle and mysterious smile. I touched my nose, and let an awkward laugh. No response. In fact, I spent most of my time searching for monsters. As for the battle time, it was all about opening my mouth, just casting a forbidden spell. Yi Li did a great job. The headmaster excitedly patted my shoulder. His eyes were filled with appreciation. 2 SSS-Class job changers. Oh. 12. 16. The college entrance trial is definitely about dominating other schools. Thinking about approaching retirement. Who would have thought he could still train 2 genius students? The headmaster's smile was as bright as a blooming chrysanthemum. What's so unusual about level 16? He's a forbidden spellcaster. If he keeps casting forbidden spells recklessly, isn't leveling up quickly pretty normal? Zhuge, you couldn't help but speak up. In his opinion, forestry could enjoy such star-like treatment. As Zhuge said that, many people's expressions subtly changed. The way they looked at me had of mockery in it. This guy, probably out of his mind, casting forbidden spells recklessly in the beginner's realm. Cursed mages who focus on leveling up rarely make it past 25 years old. With the way he's doing things, he probably won't even live to see 20. Trading for a hollow reputation. What a thing to do. Yi Lin, my dear student, why put yourself through this? Principal Su of Yukai High School let out a deep sigh, and, with a heavy heart, if my guess is correct, it must be your principal, Gao Zhenchen. Entering novice secret realm lets you level up quickly. This Gao Zhenchen's expression instantly changed. Su, stop spouting nonsense here. How could I possibly risk my students' lives? Make a joke, whether it's true or not. Why not ask Lin about it? Yeah? Don't worry. I guarantee no one would dare to retaliate. Principal, did the principal actually guide you to level up in the beginner's dungeon? I glanced at the people in front of me. A cold smirk crossed my mind. Force me. Principal Su, if you became forbidden spellcaster, how would you this career choice? Would you choose to live your life as a coward, afraid of death? Or would you go out and take bold action, withering the most brilliant moment? I choose the latter. I, Yi Lin, would rather be a hero for 1 minute than spend my whole life as a coward. Hearing these bold words of mine, the entire crowd immediately fell into silence. The sound of clapping broke the silence. I saw Zhuge Kangxin looking at me with great interest. Young friend Yi Lin, you truly have grand ambitions. No matter what, Yi Levels has reached 16. He is the highest level student in this beginner's secret realm. This beyond question, isn't that so? Seeing Zhuge Kangxin stand up to speak for me, the others didn't dare to say anything more. Dad, who told you he's number 1? Just wait. Linya comes out. His level definitely won't be lower than Yi Lin's. Are there any other experts? Who is this promising young talent named Lin Ye? Zhuge Kangxin glanced at the various school principals. All the principals shook their heads in confusion. None of them had ever heard the name Lin Ye before. Don't worry, you'll know when he shows up. Zhuge looked completely determined. The person admire so much. Well, actually curious to meet him. Zhuge Kang. With a smile on his face, he handed me a business card. My name is Kangxin. I am Zhuge's father. If you need my help, feel free. Let me know. But in the instant I locked eyes with Zhuge Kangxin, I felt an inexplicable tension deep inside. The deep and piercing eyes behind the glasses seemed as if they could see through all my secrets. This feeling made me extremely uneasy. Thank you, Zhuge. I accepted the business card. I didn't dare to make eye contact with Zhuge Kangxin again. Go home and take a good rest. We should meet again very soon. Zhuge Yanks suddenly smiled and said something completely out of the blue. When I heard, he said, the uneasy feeling in my heart grew even stronger. I didn't respond to him. Quickly walked away from this troublesome place. After back home, I opened the attribute panel, looking at those 16 forbidden spells. I was filled with excitement. Finally, I had the power to protect myself. From now on, I am no longer just an ordinary person with no strength to fight back. Just as I've immersed in joy, there was a sudden, urgent knock on the door. I cautiously opened the door. I saw a middle-aged man in a suit and tie. He was standing at the doorway, out of breath. His expensive suit looked out of place. Compared to the surroundings, it seemed completely mismatched. Are you the student? I'm the manager of Qingcheng Carnosine Beauty Company. My left is Wang. What can I do for you? The thing. Today, you broke the highest level record in the beginner's dungeon in one try. I wanted to ask if you'd be interested in filming a commercial. I can offer you $300 as the advertising fee. Hearing this person's words made me feel a bit emotional. At the same time, I couldn't help but think about how cheap ordinary lives really are. In the past, I sold almost every organ in my body, practically left nothing unsold, and only managed to earn $100,000. But after becoming famous in one shot, just a single commercial now pays as much as $300,000 in the day. I would have had to sell 10 kidneys just make this kind of money. Seeing that, turn it down. Manager Wang quickly seized the opportunity, saying that $300,000 is just the current offer. If you become the spokesperson for our 2 beautiful overalls and achieve excellent results in the college entrance exam, we can offer even more compensation. The company has authorized me to offer up to $3 million. Hearing what he said, I squint my eyes. Right now, I'm really short on money. Being a job changer is an incredibly expensive career. There's no need to worry about skills. With the infinite magic spell at my disposal, as long as I level up, I'll have an endless flow of income. But when it comes to equipment, I can buy it with actual cash. The only piece of equipment I have right now was given to me by Gao Zhenchen, the ring that adds 10 points to mental strength. Standing here, a solution, Yi. How about we grab a bite and talk it over? Lead the way. Soon, I was following Manager Wang to a secluded countryside yard. Yi, don't judge place by how it looks. The food here is absolute top-notch. I didn't say anything. I just quietly observed the surroundings. After the 2 of them down in the private room, the waiter quickly brought the dishes to the table. I immediately started devouring my food. Manager Wang really wasn't lying. The dishes here are truly a feast for the senses. What? To devour my meal like crazy. The expression on Manager Wang's face grew more and more peculiar. Don't feel dizzy at all. Hear what he said. I let out a cold in my heart. Suanji cooperatively collapsed onto the table, falling this easily. What an idiot. I even prepared so many backup plans for nothing. Manager Wang, at my unconscious self, Suanji took out the phone. The boss has been taken care of. This guy is now no different from a dead pig. 4 minutes passed. The door of the private room was pushed open. Who would have thought the visitor turned out to be from the black market? The boss. A great job. Thank you. Compliment. Boss. But boss, I don't understand. Why did you go through so much trouble for a high school student taking college exams? If others find out about this, we could end up in serious trouble. A high school student who is also an SSS level job changer. Such a person would definitely draw the attention of Qingcheng's top officials. Don't ask too many people. The more you know, the sooner you meet your end. The ruthless boss gave Manager Wang a cold glance. Leave now, and without my orders. No one is allowed to approach this private room. Manager Wang nodded slightly, and the private room in a hurry. After Manager Wang left, the ruthless boss crouched down, staring intently at me as I pretended be unconscious, eyes shining with a greedy glint. Sure enough, they all grew back. It's truly unbelievable. If I could uncover the secret of organ regeneration. But before that unscrupulous boss could finish his sentence, a sudden and abrupt voice interrupted him. If you could figure out the secret to organ regeneration, even those truly influential figures would have to treat you as an honored guest. The sudden sound gave the ruthless boss a good scare. He looked in the direction of the sound. He saw me, who had been lying on the ground like a dead dog, but now I was energetically standing right behind him. How is this even possible? The food you ate, 3 times the normal dose of sedatives added. Even an elephant wouldn't wake up in a day after consuming that. That's not a question you should be asking. What I'm more curious about is how you managed to track me down. I'll answer that after I take you down. I'll take my time to explain it to you. You think just avoiding trouble. Do you really believe a match for me? The corrupt boss let out a sinister grin. 2 sharp long knives appeared in his hands. It was only then that I realized this corrupt boss turns out to be a class changer named Meiji Bo, profession Phantom Blade Master, level 20. When I saw his profession, I suddenly understood everything. The Phantom Swordsman is not only skilled with speed, but also excels at concealing his presence, appearing and disappearing without a trace. No wonder I couldn't detect him. Kid, surrender quietly. If I take action, I can't promise you won't end up losing an arm or a leg. I don't even feel like wasting words on him. The next second, I suddenly shouted out loud, the eyes surging with forbidden magic. This is also a skill I obtained in the beginner's secret realm. It allows me to sacrifice my own eyes. Before losing my vision completely, I can freeze everything within sight. Because the monsters encountered in the beginner's secret realm were all defeated in a single strike. Since acquiring this forbidden spell, I still haven't had the chance to use it. The moment the surging eyes activated, my dark eyes instantly turned completely white. Before the greedy boss could react, ice crystals were already starting to form all over him. In no time, everything below his neck had been entirely frozen into an ice sculpture. At that moment, my vision was swallowed by darkness. The Eye of Surge is definitely useful, but it does put strain on the eyes. Though for me, that's hardly an issue. This can't be real. You're only at level 16. There's no way you could take me down in one hit. How to do that? The look on the boss's was filled with panic. He wanted to resist, but this spell, which cost me an eyeball to cast, isn't so easy to break free from. Forbidden curses aren't something you can escape easily. All right, now we sit down and have a proper chat. How many people know about my ability to regenerate organs? Me. That day, I saw you sell both your kidneys and corneas and then leave. I figured you probably wouldn't survive for long. So I thought it might be better to make use of the situation and take you back with me. And at the same time, I could get the money back. But expect that even though you were clearly blind, you could still act like nothing had happened. That's when you piqued my interest. After some investigation, I found out that you were an orphan. After that, I had my people set up for you. Why do I feel like you're lying to me? Because I wanted to keep the secret of organ regeneration all to myself. So I didn't tell about this matter. I've told you. I know. Now it's your turn to tell me why you're not affected by the sedative. Do you tell it to you? Or should I say it behind you? I grabbed the crooked boss's knife and chopped off his left hand. One swing. The arms, frozen like blocks of ice, instantly shattered into pieces of ice on the ground. A tiny camera. At that moment, realizing that his scheme had been uncovered, the corrupt boss closed his eyes as if resigning to his fate. Go ahead and kill me. I never give in. But before he could his sentence, I had already swung the blade down. The forbidden spell, deaths to the underworld, just to be on the safe side. I don't plan to let a single person on this farm get away. This necromancer's domain is one of the 16 forbidden spells I have obtained. Can cause brain cells to die at a rate of 100 million per second, creating a barrier sealed by countless undead creatures, and locking everything inside until the exorcist dies. This barrier cannot be broken. The moment the necromancer's domain was activated, the headless horseman, ancient dragon, skeleton warriors, all kinds of undead creatures kept emerging non-stop, directly surrounded the entire farmstead. Unless I die. Otherwise, no one can escape from this farmstead. The people inside the farm were completely terrified. They had never seen such a horrifying scene before. This was like a plague, a natural disaster to descend upon the world. Fortunately, those undead creatures didn't appear to have any intention of attacking them. They just quietly stayed around the farm. I held a knife in one hand, pushed open the door of the private room, and walked out. The manager, Mr. Wang, standing at the door, saw me come out, and, momentarily stunned, quickly this guy down. Manager Wang out a loud shout. The bodyguards nearby immediately rushed forward. They were all class changers, but their levels weren't very high. At everyone, and let out a cold chuckle. The moment the forbidden spell Scorching Flame to burn the sky was activated, most of them instantly wiped out. The few who were lucky enough to avoid being burned to death were writhing in pain on the ground. How simply wake up. Manager Wang was so scared that he fell to the ground. His turned pale as a sheet. I respond to his words. Instead, I smiled and walked over to his side. I have a question for you. The people, the scenes. Who are they? Manager Wang's pupils suddenly contracted. His atoms moved up and down. But say a word. A cruel smile appeared on my face. The knife into the chest of a bodyguard next to me, who was still barely alive. The bodyguard's face filled with an expression of disbelief. What the heck? Why would you stab me? Who would even understand this situation? This is disturbing. The terror in Manager Wang's grew even stronger. The teenager in front of him was practically the embodiment of a demon. Taking seemed so casual. Can it now? I pulled out the knife. I walked over to the other bodyguard, the mastermind behind it all. Someone you can't afford to cross. Just you leave. My response to him was another expressionless stab. Manager Wang, the strings. This is not something I can afford to mess with. It really matter, but aren't saying anything. You'll die right now if you don't speak. Think it through for yourself. As I spoke, I raised the knife. The terror in Manager Wang's eyes instantly reached its peak. I said it's Kenson, the underground king of Qingcheng. I furrowed slightly. The familiar name started to resurface in my mind. He was just named one of the top outstanding philanthropists in Qingcheng. He on TV before? Manager Wang quietly reminded from the side. Hearing, he said, I got a headache. Being targeted by such a big shot. The days ahead are not going to be easy. Right now, I can only hope the shady boss was telling the truth. Otherwise, if Kenson knew he could regenerate his organs, that would be a big problem. For a moment, I realized there wasn't really a better solution for now. I could only take things one step at a time, respecting the cycle of burning rebirth, honoring fierce flames consuming the heavens. Next second, my face turned pale. An eerie fire lotus instantly bloomed in my hand. In an instant, the entire farm was engulfed in an endless inferno. After erasing all traces of evidence, I summoned the undead back to their realm. Then I turned around and vanished into the darkness of the night. All that remained was a patch of scorched, blackened ground. When I got home, I splashed water on my face, took several deep breaths, but I still couldn't calm the storm of emotions inside me. Next, I'm sure Kenson will retaliate. Thankfully, in just 3 days, I'll be taking my college entrance exam. By then, everything should be safe. But the question is, where should I go for these 3 days? Staying at home, this would definitely be waiting for trouble. As I was thinking about how to find a way out, there was another knock at the door. Hearing that knock, I felt a sudden sinking feeling in my chest. Could the revenge have come this quickly? I held the night fire tightly in my left hand. Slowly, I pushed the door open. I saw Ji Lingyu standing at the door with a worried expression. Boss, you're finally back. You're incredible. You broke the record of Qingcheng that has lasted for so many years in one go. Also, I talked to my dad and got approval for 12 million. There's problem with that, but when I realize it was him, I couldn't help but feel a burst inside. Isn't this the perfect place to go? I refused to believe Kenson would dare go to the Ji family to catch me. Stop talking about money. Let's to your place. You even call me boss. From now on, I have to stick close and protect you. Ji Lingyu could hardly believe his ears. Then a sense of accomplishment surged in his heart. What Dad said is absolutely right. Yellen is someone who cares a lot about appearances, but is actually broke. With just few words, she managed to talk someone into becoming her free bodyguard. You're boss now. Come with me. Then the two of us walked out with our arms around each other's shoulders. Both of them felt like they had hit the jackpot. The underground black market in Qingcheng. A man with a big cigar in his mouth was sitting on a lounge chair. A stunning beauty knelt in front of him. She had a cigar clenched between her teeth as well. At the moment, a lackey in anxiously. The woman was so startled that the cigar fell to the ground. Boss, something's wrong. We've lost contact with Ji Hu and his men. We arrived. The farm was already burnt down to ruins, and high schooler Yiling, taken away by Ji Lingyu from the Ji group. The Ji group. What secret does that Yiling have? Even the Ji group got involved. A glint of ferocity in Kenson's eyes. Looks like it's been too long since I last made a move. Even the Ji group dares to get on my bad side. The next morning, Ji Lingyu hurriedly knocked on my room door. Boss, there's a banquet tonight. Let's check it out together. I'm not to the dinner party. My head. Right now, I just want to stay at the Ji family until the college exams start. I don't go anywhere. Auction dinner. There are going to be quite a few good things there, including items like equipment and skills. I even plan to buy a couple of them myself. Hearing Ji Lingyu's words for a moment, and all these amazing things. Exactly. King Cheng holds an auction every year before the college entrance exams. Even ordinary folks. About the banquet, you... No. Hearing what this spoiled rich kid said, I was completely speechless. Turns out, don't even count as an ordinary person. I can only be considered a commoner. The evening came around rather quickly. My stepfather took the two of us to the most luxurious hotel in the city. The three of us, the elevator, and reached the very top floor of the hotel. It was a completely different world up here. People dressed in elegant and expensive clothing were gathered in small groups, chatting and laughing with each other. Almost the entire capital seemed to be here. All the prominent figures gathered together. While was aimlessly wandering around, girl suddenly appeared in my earshot. Yellen, what are you doing here? My head, and saw Zhu Ni's disgusted face. Next to Zhu Ni, there was a girl in a white dress standing. What bad luck. Why do I keep running into this clueless woman everywhere? Nini, is she? The girl in the white dress asked curiously. It was the first time he had seen such obvious disgust on Zhu Ni's face. He noticed such a clear expression of dislike for the very first time. Humph, just a cowardly person, afraid of dying. Yanwei, do you still remember what I told you about Spirit Leaf that saved me? Before encountering the Spirit Leaf, the first person I came across was this guy. This guy isn't lacking in strength. If he had to team up with me back then to deal with that beast, I wouldn't have been pushed to the brink of death. Liu Yanwei tilted his head slightly. Even though he is indeed cowardly and afraid of death, it shouldn't be enough to make you this angry. Weren't for him, I wouldn't have ended up in such a mess, making Lin Ye see me as a burden. This wreck caused it. I still haven't found any news about Linny. Do you think I should be angry about this? Liu slightly nodded. He knows very clearly. This young lady, she's been going crazy. Linny these past 2 days, she was almost about to turn the whole Qingcheng upside down. Seeing Zhu's angry expression, I didn't even bother saying much to him. Right past them, headed straight toward the venue. As far as I'm concerned, the only thing here that catches my interest is the gear that shows up at the auction. After all, the trial for the college entrance exam happens in front of everyone. I definitely can't act like I did in the novice dungeon, throwing out a forbidden spell at everything I see. That definitely make people suspicious. I glanced at Ji Lingyu in the distance and thought I had to figure out a way to get something from him for free. But Ji Lingyu seemed to read my mind like an open book. Just as that crossed my mind, he walked over with a large group of people. Everyone, let me introduce someone to you. This is Yi Lin, my boss, Ji Lingyu said. The group looked at me, dressed in cheap clothes, and their faces a mix of doubt and suspicion. Are you joking with us, young Master Ji? It would make more sense if he saw you as the boss. Nonsense, my boss is an SSS-ranked professional. Just yesterday, he broke the record for the beginner dungeon. He's already reached level 60 now. No wonder the name sounded somewhat familiar. Turns out, it's Yi Lin who set the new record. When Ji Lingyu said those words, everyone present instantly gasped in shock. The way they looked at me completely changed. The initial sense of it was no longer there. Watching Ji Lingyu almost finish showing off, I gave smile. Lingyu, do you feel confident about achieving a good score in the college entrance trial? I'm only at level 7. It'd be pretty great if I could get to an ordinary first-tier school. It'd be amazing if I could go beyond the city. Then could help you level up, so you could achieve an even better result. How even possible to prevent situations where strong players help others level up. For 3 days after the rookie trial ends, leaving the city is strictly prohibited. Ji Lingyu, what I said, shook his head. A rattle drum. Oh, then, why did I hear that the path to the college entrance trial is just outside the city? What I said. Ji Lingyu's breathing suddenly became rapid. When the college entrance trial begins, examinees need to make their way through a section of road outside the city on their own, heading toward the entrance of the trial channel. This serves as the first assessment of the college entrance exam. There aren't many monsters near the city walls, but that doesn't mean there are none. Every year, all the examinees, when facing checkpoint, will rush through it as fast as they can. And what I mean is, it seems like he wants to level up with him here. Boss, that's outside the city. It's like the beginner's dungeon. The monsters outside the city start at level 10 at the very least. That place is where one misstep could cost your life. Every year, countless adventurers lose their lives to monsters outside the city. The number of people who die is simply overwhelming. Don't forget, I'm already at level 16. It's just a short distance outside the city walls. I probably run into any monsters I can't handle, but unfortunately, I don't have any gear. Otherwise, I could definitely help you level up before heading into the trial. When I said that, I let out a sigh and showed this expression. Getting the gear is not a big deal. But boss, I'm mostly worried about safety of both of us. After all, outside the city, just one call of boss, a single of bosses for you. Assured, even if I run into a monster I can't defeat, I will make sure to die before you. Don't you to level up a bit more to get it in better top-tier academy. You have to understand, these are things money simply can't buy. My words. A hint of guilt flashed in Ji Lingyu's eyes. I've been so dedicated to considering everything for him, but all he wants is to take advantage of me for free. A free, bidden spell-level bodyguard. But soon his gaze became resolute again. Boss, don't worry. At this auction, whatever your eye, just let me know. I will make it happen. Ji Ling and that group of second friends, the way they looked at him was with envy. A level 16 SSS-Class forbidden spellcaster risked his life to grind levels. What kind of extraordinary luck is this? After getting the approval of his stepfather, Ji Lingyu felt much more confident. Boss, the gear you have your eye tonight, I promised get it for you. Then, all the lights in the venue suddenly went out. The entire banquet hall was plunged into darkness. Out of nowhere, a single spotlight lit up the center stage. A woman dressed in a cheongsam was already standing there. Good. Everyone, I am the auctioneer. Tonight's banquet auction. Welcome to the event. The first up for auction today is a rare grade piece of equipment called the Yellow Dragon Wish Ring. It can boost mental attributes by 30% and comes with a passive skill called Dragon Aura Possession. The starting bid is set at 15 million. As soon as the words were spoken, the crowd erupted with astonishment. Even the corner of my mouth couldn't help but twitch. A single ring can increase mental power by 30%. Such equipment, an incredible boost for job changers. You have to understand. Burning reincarnation can increase mental strength by 100%, but that's achieved by burning life force. A rich kid wearing is on one hand, with a staggering 180% boost to mental strength. However, the price of this yellow Dragon Wishful Ring is truly most people's reach. I counted on my fingers. I'd probably need 666 kidneys. Only then they gather enough money. It was at that moment the stepfather suddenly shouted 18 million. A faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. This of money was exchanged for the chance for his own son to enter a top-tier academy was quite worth it. Besides, the lifespan of a curse master is notoriously short. In a few years, when Yi Lin is gone, the gear he has will belong to his son. Just as the auctioneer about to announce that the stepfather had successfully bid for the yellow dragon Rui ring, a lazy yet arrogant voice called out 20 million. Hearing shout, the stepfather's face suddenly darkened, but when he saw who made the bid, everyone was stunned. A man, slicked back hair, walked over with a cheeky grin. Kenson, did I offend you in any way? I humbly ask you, pointed it out. The stepfather didn't get angry. Instead, he put on a smile. When Kenson heard this, his turned cold. He leaned in close to his stepfather's ear and whispered about the person who killed me. Still dare to tell me? Pointed out. You're a real man. The challenge you issued has been accepted by me, Kenson. To bring ruin to your family. As he spoke, his eyes calmly me from head to toe. I met his gaze without any fear. Our locked in midair. A trace of coldness appeared in both our looks. My stepfather, hearing Kenson's words, was dumbfounded. What on earth is this? Who? His life. But those last 4 words definitely understood. Family destroyed and lives ruined. The stepfathers instantly turned cold, shouted out loud, 30 million. As soon as this price was announced, the entire room was in an uproar. A rare item was actually auctioned for a staggering 30 million. It was truly shocking to hear, yet there wasn't the slightest reaction on the stepfather's face. When it comes to financial power, the G Group ranks second in Qingcheng. No one would dare claim the first spot. Hearing the stepfather's offer, Kenson's expression turned cold and dark. Spending 30 to buy a piece of equipment. Even for him, it would be a painful expense. At an auction, with so many elites present, even he wouldn't dare throw out ram bids here. Is this Kenson out of his mind? When did I ever kill his men? Even though I successfully won the bid for the Huanglong Rui spear, but there wasn't the slightest sign of joy in my stepfather's eyes. Uncle G, when someone plans to make a move against you, things that never happened also be used as excuses. I started explaining everything to Uncle G. Father, in a logical way. I definitely wouldn't dare find out. Kenson targeted the G Family Corporation because of me. Otherwise, I'd definitely be thrown out. Kenson has always wanted to clean up his underground activities, to become businessman, but the market in Qingcheng offers him no chance to step in. However, as long as he takes over the G Group, he will have a ready-made enterprise. When in what I said, a cold sweat instantly broke out on G's father's forehead. He had initially thought Kenson was just lashing out in madness, but if his aim is to seize the G Group, that's a serious problem. If he hadn't made preparations in advance, Kenson will definitely catch him off guard. Thank you. If it weren't for your reminder, Uncle really wouldn't have thought of this aspect. Tie Uncle, Jing Linyu and I are like brothers, so I naturally see you as a father. Hearing what I said, Jing's father looked a bit stunned. He stared at me with a face full of sincerity, a trace of guilt in his heart. I've had a tough life too. If you don't mind, you can stay at the G family's house from now on. Here, and see if you like it. Father smiled warmly and handed me the yellow dragon Rui ring. I slipped the yellow dragon Rui ring onto my finger. An instant, a strange surged from the ring. The yellow dragon Rui ring is of rare grade. It enhances mental power by 30%. The skill, Dragon Spirit Possession, can be refined. The wearer of the yellow Dragon Hui ring is blessed with dragon energy. It can increase fortune value by 10%. Thank you, Uncle. Uncle, don't worry about me. Even if I have to carry him, I will. I will make sure to get Ling Yu into a top-tier academy. We are one family. There's no need to differentiate. Talking these things feels a bit too formal. Is there anything else you have your eye on? Just what you want. The auction wasn't interrupted, this little incident, and during that time, my stepfather also bought me a ring at the auction, 2 bracelets, and a necklace. These 4 items, each of them has the effect of enhancing mental strength. With the advent of the yellow Dragon Hui ring, at the moment, my mental power boost has reached an astonishing 85%, along with a fixed 200-point increase in mental power at 16. Even without activating Burning Reincarnation right now, my mental power can still reach an incredible 1,088 points. Yi Lin, for this final piece of equipment, you should go for 1 in survival. These last 3 items really wrap it all up. There's soft armor. It has incredibly strong defense. I think it suits you pretty well, Uncle G. I want that sword. I was looking at the sword on the stage, a long blade shimmering with a faint starlight. My eyes were filled with passion. Boss, aren't you a forbidden spellcaster? Why, a sword. I have forbidden spell. I happened a knife in order to perform it. This a lot to me. When I reached level 10 in the beginner's secret realm, I unlocked the first forbidden spell that requires a weapon to perform forbidden spell. This forbidden spell is called the Blade of Lifespan. Every time I swing the blade, it consumes 1 year of my lifespan. Each strike is twice as powerful as the one before, even though my strength stat is only 160 points. But if the Burning Reincarnation is activated, and the blade skill is stacked up to the 99th layer, that would be a total of 3,680 points of damage, and each strike would deal that much damage. A single hit dealing 999 damage is no longer just a dream. Soon, that blade was also bid on by my stepfather. I held the blade in my hand, my eyes with fiery excitement. Lucky Trace's rare attribute adds 300 points to strength. The skill Brilliance can be refined. The brilliance of the stars shines under the starlight. The power boost of the Starfall Sky Scar can keep increasing. It can go up to a maximum of 100%. When I reached out, gripped the knife, the dim starlight on the blade grew brighter. To my surprise, it became even more radiant. My eyes were filled with excitement. Attending this auction dinner was absolutely worth it. As the finale equipment was auctioned off, the entire evening event came to an end. After thanking stepfather, I headed to the professional training hall with Ji Lingyu, getting ready to test out the damage. Even though my level was still at 16, with 6 pieces of gear on me, I felt confident enough to dominate anyone below level 20. I inspected the training room thoroughly, making sure there were no surveillance cameras or anything like that inside. Then drew out the Starfall Scar, the forbidden spell of Burning Reincarnation, the forbidden spell of Life Blade Technique. As I swung my blade for the first strike, inside the training room, a deafening roar suddenly echoed, as if something had been completely torn apart. The blade of the Starfall Heavenly Scar also began to emit dazzling glow. My slashing speed and faster. Each strike became more powerful than the one before. By the time I swung my blade for the 99th time, the entire training room seemed to be trembling. The air was filled with intense energy waves. On the blade, the starfall scar, an unprecedented glow erupted, illuminating the entire training room. In the next moment, an invisible sword energy burst forth from the blade, instantly slashing towards the dummy in front, leaving a shallow blade mark on the dummy's neck. A faint knife scar remained on its neck. If there were outsiders here at this moment, they'd be utterly shocked. This is known to be capable of withstanding the full force attack of a level 40 transcender, a dummy strong enough to endure such power. But that's not the end of it. As the layers keep stacking up more and more, my entire body erupted with an astonishingly powerful aura. It was as if I were a deity, emerging the farthest reaches of the galactic timeline. As I swung my blade, the dummy was unexpected, split in half. I couldn't help but show a satisfied smile. With weapon in hand, combined the burning effect and the forbidden techniques of reincarnation and lifespan swordsmanship, I could totally transform into Lue Yang and slice my way from the east road of Penglai all the way to the southern celestial gate. After testing its combat strength, I went back home with Ji Lingyu. But before we stepped inside, a strong smell of blood hit me in the face. Skipped a beat. Was I wrong to think hiding at the Ji family's house would keep me safe? Could it be that Kensen still refuses to let me go? Looks like Kensen can't be allowed to stay any longer. I quickly stopped Jilingyu, who was about to open the door. You should prepare yourself mentally for what's inside. Boss, what are you talking about? Jilingyu hadn't noticed anything unusual yet. He pushed the door open and walked straight inside. As soon as he stepped into the house, he froze completely in place. The once luxurious and grand villa, now like a scene straight out of hell. Their severed limbs scattered everywhere. Many of the corpses had faces filled with terror, as if they had experienced a horrifying nightmare before dying. Ji Lingyu acted as if he had lost his mind. He pushed his way through a sea of blood and corpses. Where are you? He wanted to find his father as quickly as possible, but he was afraid of what he might see in this battlefield of bodies and blood. Finding his stepfather's corpse was his worst fear. By the time he reached the stepfather's bedroom door, Ji Lingyu's heart was already in his throat. He pushed the door open as if ready to face anything. The room was spotless. It looked exactly the same as before. A severed hand clutching a gun, and a note placed on the table. Ji Lingyu quickly rushed over. He immediately recognized it as his father's hand. On that piece of paper, a message was written in blood. If you want to save your dad, bring Yi Lin to the underground black market to find me. Every 6 hours, I will cut off a piece of meat from your father. After reading it, Ji Lingyu completely lost his mind. He sneered and was about to go after Kensen with everything he had, but as soon as he reached the door, I stopped him in his tracks. Get out of my way. Don't try to stop me. Seeing that Ji Lingyu had completely lost his mind, I couldn't be bothered to argue with him, so I slapped straight across the face. Uncle Ji, alive right now, because you haven't been caught by Kensen yet. The moment you fall into Kensen's hands, both you and Uncle Ji will be dead together in no time. Ji Lingyu clenched his teeth tightly. Tears uncontrollably streamed down his face. Then, what should I do? Find a place to hide for now. Leave everything that happens next to me. Leave it to me. Ji Lingyu raised his head in confusion. Have forgotten. A shout of boss. Call of boss. Don't cry. I will bring Uncle Ji back. I will. Aware how terrifying it can be when a forbidden spellcaster is desperate. It will show just how horrifying it truly is.